We ended last week with a stout inspired by one of our national treasures, the chocolate tea cake, and today we follow up with another tea time treat. As today we're welcoming back the fabulous Wonder Beyond with their Jaffa inspired Impy Stout, Half Moon. Now if you caught my last Wonder Beyond review, you'll know just how much I love these guys, so I won't go on banging that drum. But what I will say is they have set the bar very, very high, so I'm expecting something very special here. And I'm hoping to be this hyped come total eclipse. So here it is, Half Moon. And again, like I've said before, as much as I love the liquid art inside, I do really love the can art too. We've got a lovely little Half Moon Jaffa on the front. And on the back, what's really taken my eye is the use of the Mandarina Bavaria hop. So they're trying to get some natural notes of orange and tangerine in there, as well as using further adjuncts to no doubt embolden those flavours. I'm pretty hyped to get started, especially as the last one was so damn good. Can it live up to the bill? Let's find out. Let's get pouring. And of course I forgot to press record. It's been a while since I've done that. Okay, so it's very, very sweet on the nose. Lots of chocolate notes in there as well. And there's some real sweetness in there too. And of course, that nice waft of orange. So it is really chocolatey up top. It's a dark and bitter chocolate though. And in the tail, that tangy orange. And it's ever so slightly creamy, which is aided by this silky, smooth body. And I am getting a little bit of vanilla now in the nose, a little malty too, almost like waffle or nougat. And it is just ever so biscuity. And unlike that last beer that had that real warming chili to hide that strength of alcohol, this one you could definitely sense it's got a bit of a bite to it. It is a 12% Impy and it definitely feels it. And as we're getting on, the beer's getting a lot thicker, it's getting a lot gluier in the mouth, and this layer of cream is starting to come to the fore. And that dark, rich chocolate and tangy orange are starting to take a back seat. They're definitely there in the tail, but they're definitely losing their grip up top. And as I said about the last beer that didn't have that change in the middle, this one is definitely developing nicely. Now today, if you didn't know, is actually quite a landmark day in the UK, because on this day, back in 2003, the very controversial Section 28 bill was finally repealed. Section 28 was one of the most controversial bills of modern time, and it's estimated that hundreds of thousands of people contracted the HIV virus needlessly as a direct result of it. It of course gets lost in the very long list of crimes against the people committed by then PM Maggie Thatcher. It's well worth remembering that the bill was vehemently supported by soon-to-be PM David Cameron, who in 2000 criticised the Labour Party when they brought forward the idea of repealing the Act by claiming it was anti-family and preaching homosexuality in schools. And I'm sure its legacy still lives on today in the LBGT community. Back to the beer, because we've had a whole lot of change going on midway through. We're getting much creamier notes now. The beer is starting to feel a little heavier, a little chewier in the mouth. As we're starting to get yet another change. Some of that tangy orange is starting to push its way back into the fold. And those creamy notes that are in the middle are starting to again fade as that dark chocolate is starting to make a comeback. In my last review, I did criticise the beer with a lack of development. There is no such criticism here. It starts with a big wave of dark and very bitter chocolate, with a real zesty orange right in behind, and they fade out with this beautiful balanced bitterness. And if I'm honest, it caught me a little off guard, as I was expecting something a little sweeter. But boy am I glad it wasn't. And it continues like this for a little while until about midway through, when things start to change. As creamier notes start to take the lead, and that body becomes noticeably thicker and chewier. Now I should mention the beer was brewed with both oats and vanilla, and you definitely get a feel of that in that middle, as the beer does become much creamier and sweeter, and it definitely gave me vibes of nougat, which was a welcome break from some of that early richness and bitterness. But that little interlude wasn't to last, as in the tail those original notes make their comeback, and the beer ends almost how it started. Tangy, zesty and bitter orange, with a sneaky dark chocolate bite. And it is well worth mentioning, unlike their chili stout from last week, this one you definitely did get a feel for some of that Impy 12%. And it's not in a hugely noticeable way either. It's not like it's dominating the flavour or you're feeling the burn, but you definitely do get a feel there is a bit of weight behind this one, especially when you try to stand up.